this, we can cross to ABC News correspondent Jordana Miller, who's live for us from Jerusalem. Jordana, what more do we know about the fallout from these strikes? Israel saying it crippled Iran's ability to produce ballistic missiles. So is it being seen as a success in Israel's eyes?
Definitely see this strike as a success and as a setback to Iran's ballistic missile production and its current arsenal, both that were hit in this strike. And it's worth noting that Israel did, in the end, it appears, moderate its strikes and rein them in a bit. The Israeli prime minister is denying that has anything to do with American pressure, but surely it does, given the close relationship between Israel and the United States, and of course, the military supply lines. And the United States, as you know, deployed one of its most advanced anti-ballistic air defense systems here in Israel, the THAAD, before this strike, preparing for a worst case scenario that Iran might retaliate at the same time, which, as we saw, they did not. Israel staying away from hitting those nuclear sites and any oil fields. Again, that was a U.S. request. But it's also, should be noted, it is in Israel's interest right now not to escalate and have a full-fledged outright war with Iran. Israel is still fighting in the Gaza Strip. Israel is in the middle of a fight against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon and in Beirut, thousands of troops, Israeli troops inside Lebanon. So this is not the time for Israel to go to war with Iran. And instead, Israel chose to send a very targeted and precise message to Iran. And that is that we can send dozens of fighter jets, some who don't even have to go into Iranian airspace, but they can still hit very sensitive sites, including air defense systems, and again, missile depots, drone depots, and really set Iran back. And hitting the air defense systems was a crucial part of this mission because it essentially clears the way and gives Israel a better position in the skies if there are future conflicts, direct attacks between Israel and Iran. So this was, on the whole, I think what most people agree is a kind of balanced or proportionate strike that does not seem set to drag the region into a wider war.
Well, as you mentioned, Israel doesn't need to open another front with fighting active in Lebanon and in Gaza. And Iran said it had the right to retaliate. Are we likely to see a response, do you think?
And to note that we have not heard very aggressive threats of retaliation from Iran. I mean, we're just about 24 hours out from the strike. But if we look back, when Israel, for example, assassinated Ismail Haniyeh, the leader of Hamas, on Iranian soil, we heard, very strong threats of a direct and strong response. After Israel killed one of Iran's generals in Damascus back in the beginning of this war, we saw Iran also make very, very big threats to hit Israel. And in the end, Iran followed through with it. This time, we're hearing Iran talk about its right to defend itself and its national interests, but also in a very carefully worded statement put out by its military, it seemed to indicate that if there is a ceasefire in Gaza and in Lebanon, that should come first before another round of fighting between Israel and Iran. So it looks like right now, Iran is not threatening a major strike, and they're choosing to kind of, come down from the tree and maybe let this be the last round. That, of course, is the preference of the United States as well. And we know that President Biden is putting a lot of diplomatic pressure on parties that talk to Iran.
All right, Jordana Miller, thank you very much for that update from Jerusalem.